Sometimes I wonder if we have just completely forgotten how to behave as a society. We've forgotten about manners, and I think it's unfortunate when everybody else has to pay for it. So I have a couple stories that I want to touch on today. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. I appreciate you clicking on the video to watch it, and since you are here, I would love it if you would help me to grow this channel and hit that subscribe button now. And of course, to those of you that are returning, welcome back. I truly do appreciate your continued support on my channel, and I hope that you are subscribed as well. So there are a couple of stories that I want to talk about in this video, and both of them I think just kind of tie into this idea of, do we understand manners? Do we understand human interaction? Do we understand how we should behave in public? And are we instilling those things in our children? And if we are we instilling the proper things into our children? This first story comes from a nurse that was flying with her husband from on a flight from Atlanta to Denver, and they had an issue with a little girl that was sitting in front of them, and the parents making minimal effort to alleviate the situation. And before we get into this, I just have to say, I understand that traveling with children is hard. I understand that traveling on an airplane with a child is hard. It is something that I have done before, and I have to say, when I go to an airport and I am getting on my flight, if I have to sit next to somebody that has a kid, it never bothers me because I understand the stress, and I also understand that there are a lot of people that might get uptight about it, that might be rude to parents, that might make things more stressful than they already are for parents who are in this situation where they know that they have this little ticking time bomb in their lap that could either be really, really well behaved, or they could completely lose their mind, and they're in a little box where they can't just let them get up and run around, and they have minimal options to make the situation better. And the whole time you are just hoping and praying that your kid is just going to be okay and not make the flight an absolute miserable experience for everybody else. I understand when I see parents that have little kids that stress is on their shoulders, and it never bothers me to be around little kids or to be seated next to little kids.
I volunteer as tribute.
That being said, I don't think anybody should ever rely on the fact that people understand that little kids are hard to control, that it is not an ideal situation, and that therefore, because people have that understanding, that you are absolved of your responsibility as a parent to alleviate the situation, that you are just going off the fact that people are going to get it, and therefore you don't think that you have to do anything. That is not the right approach either. That's kind of what I think was happening here. So this nurse and her husband, like I said, were on a flight, and I'm going to let her tell part of the story, and then I will let you know kind of how things evolved from there.
So today on my flight from Atlanta to Denver, there was about an hour left in the flight, and the kid in the seat in front of me turned around and went like that, with spit flying all over my face and my husband's arm. So I get it. Traveling with kids can be hard, right? This kid was 3 or 4 or 5, but whatever, old enough to understand that you don't do that. So I was kind of shocked, and the parents reacted and told her not to, and then it just became a thing. And she, again, fought against them, turned around on the seat and spit on us again. This time I put my hand up just to block the spit from me. And her parents kind of grabbed her and had her sit down. Well, she fought. It was her mom on one side and her dad on the other. She was the only child. She was in the middle seat. She fought them, trying to turn around and spit at us some more. And she did. She turned around, and a third time. Now, when I say spit, I mean she was, but spit was going everywhere, right? How would you have reacted? I need to know what you guys would have done. Before I tell you what we did, I need to know what you would have done. Okay, another thing that I probably could have mentioned, just for fun, is that both of her parents were wearing a mask. She obviously was not. And they clearly had no control. 2 adults could not control a 4-year-old child. Anyway, now go ahead and tell me what you would have done.
So I'm very curious to hear how you guys would have handled that situation, because I do think that there is a difference when you can tell that parents are really doing everything they can to get their kid to calm down, to get their kid to behave, versus those that are just kind of going through the motions of parenting while, like I said, relying on the idea that people understand that kids are small and there's not much you can do, and therefore they're just not really doing much and just hoping that people are going to leave it alone and not expect them to do more because kids are difficult to control. And I think there are also those situations where you can clearly tell that it is the child that is in control and not the parents, because this often is not just a one-off incident. This is usually an indicator of how that child behaves all the time, and that they have literally just taken over control of the relationship, and that they are actually leading the dynamic between the parent and the child. In this article, it does tell us how this particular couple handled the situation, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree. It says, the ongoing misbehavior caused Monier, her name is Shayla Monier, caused her husband to lose his cool, she explained. After the third time, my husband very sternly said to the parents, if you don't get your kid under control, I'll do it for you. And why don't you put a mask on her? You guys are both wearing masks. Why doesn't she have a mask? Monier said. Then the mom yelled back at him and said, if you guys had kids, maybe you'd understand. To which my husband replied, we have 5 children and 6 grandchildren, and I promise you, not one of them would do something like that. And some of the responses that she got were, you were showered in the spit of gentle parenting. One TikTok user joked, gentle parenting is absolute BS. Kids need clear boundaries and structure. Another wrote, I'm on your side. Good for your husband. A third chimed in with another adding that they were absolutely in the right. And she did go on to say that the kid eventually did calm down and went back to sleep for the rest of the flight. And honestly, I don't know how I would handle that situation. Probably similarly with, saying to the parents, you've got to get this situation under control. Like, I understand there are certain behaviors, there are certain things that we can't control, but your kid cannot be spitting on people. And why are you so comfortable covering your face when you're the ones that aren't even causing an issue, when your child is the one that is spraying their saliva, their germ-filled, yucky saliva all over everybody, and you're sitting there acting like germs are a problem for you. And this story does remind me of just like incidents that I've heard from maybe our grandparents' day and age, when it was actually allowed to discipline somebody else's kid. I don't recommend like grabbing somebody else's kid and smacking them on the butt or spanking them. I think that's clearly out of line, and I would probably go nuclear if I ever saw somebody do that to my kid. But again, my kids would never behave this way, ever. And I've got 3 kids that have 3 very different personalities. And I am not a perfect parent by any stretch of the imagination, but there has been 0 gentle parenting in my home. There are just certain things that were just not tolerated. And I think too many kids these days don't understand who the parent is. And there are far too many parents who, for whatever reason, don't want to step in and make sure that their kids know who the authority figure is. The second story I want to talk about really quick, because this just came across my TikTok feed, not my TikTok feed, my Twitter feed, probably about an hour ago. And I'm just sitting here scratching my head and I'm like, can we not normalize this? We see people that put things out there like this and we're like, I can understand why kids have just lost a grip. They're just losing their minds because so many adults have completely lost their freaking minds. So this woman is going to tell us about what she wants to normalize regarding play dates. And you can tell me if you think that this is something that we should just make the standard across the board.
Normalize sending the other family money for play dates. So recently, my daughter had a friend over, and I asked her mom for money, and this is how it went. So after the play date, I texted her mom and I said, thanks for letting Jamie play today. Please help out with your share of the expenses for the play date, totaling $15 via Venmo. Let's do it again sometime, because I can't keep doing these play dates if it's so expensive. And she said, expenses? And I said, yeah, she used supplies and food while she was here. And this way we can do this more often without a monetary obligation on just one party, right? Makes sense. Now, she didn't say much, but she did say what supplies. And of course I wrote them down. There was chalk, applesauce, fruit. She sat on the couch, so that's wear and tear. She actually broke a toy. She had 3 juice boxes. She went to the bathroom. She had yogurt. Then she actually sent the money, and I sent her a message thanking her for it, of course. She didn't say anything else, but I said, this will make it easier for us to do more play dates in the future. So what do you guys think?
I think your kid's never going to be invited to a play date again. No, 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 no. You imagine sending your kid over to a play date or bringing your kid over to a play date, and the mom of the friend is sitting there making a list of every single thing that your kid is using and writing down a price, charging them to go to the bathrooms, charging them to sit on the couch. That's insane. I understand things are expensive. I understand that the cost of everything has gone up. I understand that there are certain expenses that come with having your kids' friends over. But this is not the way to handle it. No. mean, I can understand, this is just me kind of exploring this insane idea for a minute. I can understand if maybe you agree on this beforehand, but I can't imagine that any mom would agree to have a play date for their kid if this was the standard that they had to meet, if these were the stipulations that they were going to charge you for every single thing that you did or used in their home. So if you did make that the standard beforehand, you would probably have no invites to play dates whatsoever. But my view is, if you have other kids in your home, then you understand that there are certain things that are going to be provided to them. If the kids have a snack, I'm not just going to make a snack for my kid, I will offer your kid a snack as well. If my kid is using a toy, then I understand that your kids are going to play with toys as well. I also understand that there is a certain risk that things might get broken. It is just something that happens. It's something that could easily happen whether your kid is here or not. So I am not going to charge you if something, because she has on here, it says broke an LOL doll, $5. I'm not going to charge you if something gets broken. Now, if your kid breaks, you know, something significant like an electronic or a TV or some kind of gaming device, that might be another conversation. But as far as toys and things that are just normally used between kids, that's not going to be an issue, and you accept the risk when you have other kids in your home. Also, if you want to alleviate the costs, you can say, hey, if you provide this part of the snack, we're going to bring the drinks, or we're going to bring the dessert, or whatever. If you're going to provide this part of the art supplies, then we'll bring the chalk, or we'll bring the paper. There are certain ways to kind of balance the costs that come with having your kids over, but to have a kid over and then just spring a bill on them is so completely insane to me. Sometimes, like I said, I just wonder where people's heads are at. Anyway, those are just a couple of things that popped up on my feed today and just had the wheels turning a little bit. And sometimes I'm just like, you know, we need to talk about these things. Perhaps if you end up in a situation where you have a kid that's spitting on you during a flight, or if you have a play date with your kids' friends and their mom, and suddenly they send you a bill for the things that they did or broke or used while you were in their company. And we can all just kind of learn how to handle these situations together, because, oh my gosh, times have changed. Times have changed. Tell me all of your thoughts. Leave them in the comments below. Make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you are subscribed. Also, always let me know the things that you guys want to talk about. I have started getting more emails from you guys, which I really like, because it helps me to know the topics that are concerning to you, the things that you want to discuss. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.